Greetings. Welcome back to Black Bear News, where everything is connected. I know we're going for the rugged, unfinished look behind me today. I realize it's slightly messy, but we'll work on that. Anyways, for the Rockfinners, guys, I don't know what is going on with Rockfin. Rockfin is just being super glitchy. And it's just been doing weird things all day. Rockfin has. And I can't get the live stream to go on Rockfin today, so I guess I will just upload it later, hopefully, if everything goes well. But anyways, welcome. Early chatters are in. Welcome back to Black Bear News, where everything is connected. Always great to see y'all, and thank you. Thanks again, everyone, for the support. I really appreciate it. All the super chatters and all the people supporting me on PayPal and Patreon, thank you so much. What's going on? Rich Diana, Osama, Jacob, Alhim F., Raza, Benito, Kuro, Raza, again, constituent of clowns. Jacob Gordon, what's going on? It's a techno background, yeah. Well, the reason, actually, it's behind me this way. I actually did this to kind of show you this screen here. I'm going to make two shirts. One says consume, and the other one says Ecocide. So I just want to let you guys know that those shirts are actually happening. I'll probably have a link up for the shirts tomorrow or later on tonight. But anyways, just letting y'all know. I know some people were kind of excited about getting a consume shirt. What's up? Realize, how you doing? And I also thought an Ecocide shirt might be appropriate. So, just letting y'all know, those are coming like in the next day or two. But I probably will have a link up if you want to order a shirt either tonight or tomorrow. Anyways, Kiro Hikes, what's up? Thanks for the super chat. Thug Life. Would it be? What it be like? That's what it be like. Thug Life. Gene, indeed. I was just about to say something about that. Gene says, I've been following the interesting debate about Jimmy's idea on the House vote on Medicare for all. Right. So sometimes I got to pat myself on the back for covering, kind of getting in on a story early. If you remember on Saturday, or maybe it was Friday, I covered the exchange between AOC and Justin Jackson. And all of a sudden it blew up the entire weekend. It became, right, constituent of clowns. All of a sudden it became this huge, it blew up into this huge story all weekend long. So almost every channel has been discussing this kind of showdown between Jimmy Dore and AOC and the progressives, and lots of takes on it. Almost everybody has a take on it. Everybody on the left is discussing it. And again, I gotta say, good on Jimmy Dore for blasting this idea out there hard enough so that he got the entire social media landscape, basically YouTube and Twitter and everywhere else, talking about this idea, calling out the progressives in Congress, calling out the Democrats in Congress. Good on Jimmy Dore. Whether you like him or not, whether you think it's a bad idea or not, hey, he's got everybody's attention, and he's got actual the attention of the politicians who supposedly support this, right? The politicians who are like, oh yeah, oh, we totally support Medicare for all. We're way behind it. And he's like, okay, then be about it. Be behind it. What are you going to do? You going to vote? You going to take a vote on it? You're going to withhold? You're going to wield some power? You're going to lever some power in Congress? You're going to do something? And, you know, all the politicians, including AOC and all the progressives, are like, mum's the word. We just can't do it. I don't know how we can do it. We just don't have the support. All right. What's up, Your Environment Seattle? How you doing? Forcing Climate Info. What's going on? Boiled Rope Lamppost. Twitter is a public square. Yeah. Yes, I screen print Boiled Rope Lamppost. Yes, these are shirts that are coming. Consume and Ecocide shirts are coming. If you want to be, you know, they're sarcastic or they are ironic, if you will, if you're into, but Ecocide just about sums it up, right? If you got a shirt that says Ecocide, got to make people think about what the hell they're doing. Maybe even make yourself think about it. Anyways, call Congress, indeed, Your Environment Seattle. So this is a big idea. This is a good idea. This is getting people's attention. Many people are like, oh my God, how dare you? And that's the thing. How dare you? How dare you be loud and vocal and pissed off and angry? How dare you hold people accountable? How dare you make people uncomfortable? How dare you call out somebody's intentions? How dare you? And that's the problem. Everybody's playing the civility game, the civility politics. Oh, he was just really mean. What he said wasn't very nice. He doesn't understand politics. He needs to listen to the adults in the room. He's not really very serious. Oh, he's just a commentator. Oh, he's just a YouTube guy. Oh, he's just, you know what I'm saying? All these excuses for why it's not nice to bring this up, or it's not nice to push people, or it's not nice to call people out. It's not nice. Nothing is nice. Guess what? Suck it up. Get a helmet. You're in Congress. You're supposed to represent the people. If you don't represent the people, you're going to get voted out or called out. Get a helmet. In the famous words of Dennis Leary, get a fucking helmet. You crying ass little coward. You crying ass, oh, he may hurt my feelings. Meanwhile, people are dying. Meanwhile, people don't have medical care. Meanwhile, people are suffering. Meanwhile, people are going bankrupt. Meanwhile, people are going broke. Oh, we hurt my feelings. We don't do it like that. We don't do it like that over here. Yeah, we do. We do now. You don't like it? Do something about it. Change it. Do something different. Do it better. If you're not going to do it better, then get the hell out. Anyways. I think you all pretty much understand what I'm trying to say, and I think most of you all enjoy at least some truth telling. Interglacial Optimist, what's up? Welcome back. Washington did change. Their spines melted. Indeed, they did. And Interglacial Optimist, I apologize for my rough language yesterday, but, I just don't necessarily like to get upset at people, but everything I said actually was, I think a solid point of view, but anyways, welcome back. Basil Peterson, if you're scared, get a dog. Exactly. Jacob Gordon, nice won't change anything. Right. Kuro Hikes, that argument about Jimmy being mean is just what spineless, weak-ass liberals would say. Indeed. I'm Sweet Leaf. Yeah, you just go back to the video yesterday. You'll get some rough language, but whatever. Anyways, it's all good. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you all being here, and thank you for your support. Right, Kuro Hikes, liberals ain't shit. My people are still dying in these streets. Exactly. People are going broke. People are going hungry. People are getting kicked out of their houses. People are getting, not getting medical care. And supposedly you're supposed to ask nicely. Can we have these things? Oh, I don't know. We just don't have the support. Oh, I just don't know. I don't know if we can do it. I don't know if now is the right time. I don't know if we can do that. I don't know if that's the way to go about it. I'm not sure if we can do it like that. Anyways. Huh? Jimmy had tears in his eyes when Trump lost? What are you talking about? I don't think so. Anyways, whatever. I wanted to start with this very I want to start off with a little comedy, and it's about the primacy of bears, which is pretty awesome. This is a funny story about how a New Hampshire libertarian utopia was foiled by bears. And basically, a bunch of libertarians went to this small town in New Hampshire and they tried to take it over. And this has happened many times in the past where a group of people kind of move into a very small community, and because it's a very small community, by their sheer numbers, they can come in and start like taking over the local politics and changing the town in their image. Many examples of this, but anyways, these libertarians tried to come in and take over this town, and they were kind of just sloppy and obviously not very bear savvy. I'm not really gonna read the whole thing because I just wanted to say this is a funny story. But black bears came in and kind of thwarted this attempt to take over this town. There was an actual like a bear attack. Hold on, let's get down. Let's see if I can read something funny from here. Anyways, these guys are all about, they're libertarians. They're all about like, yeah, no, don't tread on us. We don't want any laws. We don't want any regulations. We don't want any, guardrails for our behaviors. And they didn't take into account that bears were going to come in and kind of screw everything up for them. Yeah, they were like camping out in the woods, and they were leaving trash around and leaving food around, and they didn't really understand how to deal with these bears. Anyways, it's called the Free Town Project was the group of people that came in. Yeah, and they took over the local town politics, and they kind of gutted the services of the town. They gutted the police force and all kinds of other things. And so there weren't really many services left in order to deal with this bear problem. And they kind of fell apart. Anyways. Yeah, so this is literal, exactly. Andy the Gardener, this is literal black bear news. But, Oh, and a good point that they made in this article is that black bears are particularly aggressive towards humans. So there you go. I think I chose an apt icon for this channel in black bears. They're aggressive towards. They don't really like humans. Yes, they're very smart. They're very intelligent. They're very wily. They solve problems. Kira Hikes, though, why they got to be black bears, though? White bears commit crimes, too. Why you got to stigmatize the black bears? Yes, Boiled Rub Lamppost. Animal control was the keystone, indeed. Right. If you're going to go live out in the wilds or set up a libertarian utopia, it's probably a good idea to figure out how to actually live in the wild before you do that. Let's move on to another interesting. We're gonna keep it a little interesting and strange in the beginning of the show. There's this new. So the corn of the future is hundreds of years old and makes its own mucus. Ew, mucus. This is a really interesting story about a very a little known type of corn grown in Mexico that makes its own nitrogen, and it grows in very arid, poor soil. And they're saying that what is the name of this corn? Sierra Mixe. Locally bred over hundreds or even thousands of years to produce its own nitrogen, an essential nutrient for crops that is usually applied as fertilizer in epic amounts. Wow, so maybe harsh climate or inclement weather, or just bad conditions in general helped to facilitate the developing of this particular type of corn that makes its own nitrogen and is very hardy. And of course, now the scientists are converging all over this type of corn. Whoa, that is a trip. That's pretty cool looking, though, actually. It's covered in mucus and makes its own nitrogen. This may be the future of food, or corn anyways. Moving on to another story that seems like the headline makes it seem like, oh, that's so interesting, but it's actually, this is supposed to be a story about a long submerged Stonehenge in Spain, but it's actually more about climate change. Drought has revealed Spain's long submerged Stonehenge. I'm just going to read just a little bit of this. The summer of 2019 was unusually scorching across Europe and beyond, and things have only grown more intense in the already hot and dry region of Extremadura in Spain. Months into an official drought that could be developing into a mega drought. It's pretty much only a term that's used in conjunction with climate change. Local farms, or at least nowadays is used in conjunction with climate change. Local farmers are facing the loss of hundreds of millions of euros. Many think this is just a sign of things to come. Well, certainly, because we're getting hot. We're hotting up. Droughts and the way that they strip the land of plant cover and drain lakes and reservoirs for all the problems they cause are often a boon for archaeologists. All right, so here's where we get into the feel-good, human interest stories or whatever. The water level of the Valdecañas Reservoir in the province of Cáceres has dropped so low that it is providing an extraordinary glimpse into the past. All my life, people had told me about the dolmen, says Angel Castaño, a resident of Paraleda de la Mata, a village just a couple miles from the reservoir and president of the local cultural association. I had seen parts of it peeking out from the water before, but this is the first time I've seen it in full. The dolmen he's talking about is known as the Dolmen of Guadalapero. The remains of a 7,000-year-old megalithic monument consisting of around 100 standing stones, some up to 6 feet tall, arranged around an oval open space. It takes hours of hiking to get to the dolmen, which is now a few dozen yards away from the edge of the tranquil blue water. Visitors today are more likely to see deer than guards. Traces of aquatic plant life in the sand show that the site is dry and accessible only temporarily. Anyways, interesting. Climate change is revealing this Stonehenge structure. What else will climate change reveal? Stay tuned. Film at 11. Oh, okay. Okie dokie. Right. Yes, it is a beautiful bear, indeed. Osama. Osama says, I have an Osama phone. Yeah, Kuro hikes, unfortunately, Trump losing wasn't really a win. You can say that again. Not the win that people think it is. But anyways, that's another story. Oh, thank you, Interglacial Optimist. I appreciate that. I have love for you too. Thank you for being here. Boulder of Lamppost, bears are pretty lawless. Exactly. Ola Donkey, just for the record, Jimmy Dore is a lefty. He's a progressive. And most of the people that follow him are on the left and are progressives. They're just more left than the right-wing Democrats that inhabit the halls of Congress. That's all. Lightning Rod said, it is a bit of a win. I don't know. I mean, in the sense that you don't have to, see him every day, I guess. I don't know. But Kuro has a point. Kuro has a point. 1 second, guys. What's up?
Watching your stream now.
Oh, okay. That's funny. Okay. Kuro's point, and the point that Kuro is making, I think, is that when Trump is in office, it's easy to see it's easy to see the corruption. The corruption is evident. People are looking for it. People are looking hard at it. And he doesn't hide it very well, right? And so Biden being in office will lull a lot of people back to sleep. People will be like, oh, that's great. It's fine. At least Trump is gone. And, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to ignore the horrible things that Biden is doing. And most likely we could see ourselves getting into another war or two under Biden, which I'm not happy about seeing. But we'll see. We don't know that for sure yet. The truth is unknown. Let's go on. Zach Labe posts this. Zach Labe is showing up almost daily in these videos. Last month observed the second lowest Arctic sea ice volume on record for November since at least 1901. So we saw the highest November on record last month, and we saw the second lowest Arctic sea ice volume on record for November. And here's the handy graph. Interesting. if you look at this trend line, we are getting a bit of a reprieve, a plateau, if you will. I shouldn't expect that this will last very long, but if you look at this trend line, wham, we already should have been at zero, according to this trend line. But somehow we got a little bit of a slight reprieve, so lucky us. Lucky us. Moving on to a tweet from Ben C. We're now hurtling into a world where horrifically intense rainstorms and floods, prolonged deadly heat waves, and seemingly never-ending droughts create monstrous wildfires and uncontrollable insect outbreaks, followed by global crop failures and famine threatening billions. News? Right. Right. He's actually referencing, well, he goes on to say, it sounds like a wild exaggeration, but it isn't. There is a 90% chance, which is super high, super close to 100. 90% is chance that 3 billion people will have to choose between going hungry and moving their families to milder climes because of climate change within decades. He's referencing an article all the way from 2009. And, you know, we'll keep in line with the trend. We were looking at an article from 2011 saying that, you know, we could possibly stay below 450 ppm by 2100, which was only 9 years ago and which is extremely laughable because we're already at 420. So staying below 450 is laughably ridiculous. Anyways, he's referencing an article from New Scientist from the year 2009. Let's go all the way back to when Obama first, he wasn't even inaugurated yet. Billions could go hungry from global warming by 2100. Say it ain't so. Here's a projection for summers in 2040, 2060, warmer than warmest on record, right? And then summers in 2080, 2100, warmer than warmest on record. These maps show the likelihood that future average summer temperatures will be higher than the highest on record for 1900 to 2006. There is a 90% chance that 3 billion people will have to choose between going hungry and moving their families to milder climes because of climate change within 100 years, says new research. 3 billion people. That's a pretty good chance. Although in 2009, that was back in the days when everybody was, super excited about this 2100 guardrail. It was all the rage. 2100 was all the rage back in 2009. The study forecasts that temperatures at the close of the century are likely to be above those that crippled food supplies on at least 3 occasions since 1900. Yeah. David Battisti, a climatologist at the University of Washington, used 23 models vetted by the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change to calculate how temperatures will vary with climate change. Unlike previous studies, his team focused on temperatures during growing seasons around the world. This allowed them to determine the effect on food supplies. Their results show there is a 90% chance that average temperatures in the tropics and subtropics will be higher than the hottest heat waves of the past century, right? Well, we'll see how long we have to actually get to that point. But 90% chance sounds pretty likely. With more than 3 billion people living in those areas, most of whom rely heavily on locally produced crops for both food and income, the effects could be catastrophic. Expanding desert, crops hit hard, scientific solutions. For many agricultural scientists, the solution lies in crops that are either genetically modified or bred to be more heat resistant, or maybe produce their own nitrogen. Who knows? But at some point, crops just aren't going to grow, especially if the seasons are all over the place. You need things to be fairly reliable season-wise for food to grow. So, unless you're talking about indoor growing or underground growing, I don't know. Ben goes on to just say a few more things. Human activities under the world's free market and state capitalisms. We're actually a state capitalism. If you want to know the truth, we are not. We think we're a free market, but not necessarily so. Free market and state capitalisms emit 100 million tons of CO2 every day. More intense rainstorms, floods, prolonged heat waves, droughts, more frequent and severe wildfires, insect outbreaks, and crop failures. Oh, there was something else I just remembered I wanted to read. Anyways. Y'all see where this is going. I had something. Give me 1 second, guys. Sorry, I seem to have missed an article. Hold on one moment. Oh, here we go. This is what I wanted to. So yeah, 11 years later, from Counterpunch, expert IPCC reviewer speaks out. By Robert Hunziker. I'm not going to read this whole thing, but Roger Hallam interviewed Peter Carter, right? We spoke about this video already. And you all can watch this, but I wanted to just hit this point. Dr. Carter is currently reviewing the 6th assessment of the IPCC. Additionally, he reviewed the IPCC Special 1.5C report of 2018 that exposed a new reality about the global climate emergency. As a result, the depth and breadth of a true emergency is gaining recognition throughout the world. The fact that 1.5C above baseline is now the prescribed upper limit to global warming accomplished more than just turning heads. Okay. Dr. Carter says we are in a climate emergency, in an unprecedented Earth emergency. Dr. Carter, very learned man, very, in touch with the reality of what's going on with climate change. It's an emergency of our climate, an emergency of our oceans. This is not one of many challenges. This is the challenge for all humanity. Or something like that. I'm not trying to be flip about it, but that's pretty much how people treat, when he's not kidding when he's saying this, this is not hyperbole. This is actually reality. So when somebody says the challenge for all humanity and people are like, okay. Let me see. I want to get to the key point I wanted to read in here. We've seen this act, the COP, repeat over and over ever since COP1 in Berlin in 1995, as each successive COP ending ceremony finds the parties congratulating each other, slaps on the back for one more successful climate conference of 20,000, 30,000 able-bodied professionals wiped out from overconsumption of beluga caviar and Domaine de la Romane Conti, but subsequently carbon emissions increasing the following year and every following year thereafter. Who's to congratulate? Hey! Guys, did you notice this? My friends in the climate science community, did y'all notice this? Hey! Emissions go up every year. More to the point, the annualized CO2 emissions rate is plus 60% since COP1. Not decreasing, not going down, not once. Not once. After 25 years of the same identical pattern, it doesn't take a genius to figure out that the take-home work from all 25 COPs mysteriously turns into the antithesis of the mission statement of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. Ooh. Gauntlet thrown. Dr. Carter, just laying it down. So yeah, kind of, you know, and this is the exact same thing that Planet of the Humans tried to, you know, elucidate to people was, since the very first Earth Day, since the very first COP1, whatever, since the Rio conference, since what, you know, Kyoto, since the Kyoto Protocol, since all of this stuff has been going on, we get worse. It gets worse and worse every single year. So what do we need to do? Do we need to make people uncomfortable? Do we need to get mean? Do we need to make people upset? Do we need to stop having these nice little friendly conferences with people and scientists and being all very scholarly and, you know, oh, yeah. We really need to do some work on this, but, you know, what are we actually doing? What are all these well-mannered, well-meaning scientific and governmental types actually doing about this? The reality is not a whole lot, except for talking, planning, conferencing, discussing, thinking about it, doing more studies. Guys, we're sending a team to the Arctic and we're going to study more about something, 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 something. All scientists of the planet need to stop your studying, stop doing what you're doing. Stop getting together, stop getting on airplanes to meet at these conferences. Why don't you all get together and do a major study? All the climate scientists of the world that understand that climate change is real, all you stop doing what you're doing and all of you get together and figure out, you know, do a huge study on what it will take to get the human race to respond to this challenge for humanity. The challenge of all humanity. The challenge for all humanity is the way that Dr. Carter put it. That's really what we need. That's the only thing we need to be concerned about right now. And then we could probably pile onto that discussion. How is it that we're going to free the people and the nations of the world, the governments of the world, from the grip of the vampire squid of the corporatocracy that, you know, is eating the planet alive? Darn it, I hate when I do that. Yes, Lowy Appets, on the top of climate change, no more research is necessary, indeed. We all understand. There's nothing more to understand. We all agree, we're all in accordance. The problem is getting people to actually do something about this. Gritty Chops says we need philosophy, not green power. I'm down with that, Gritty Chops. I like that. I like that a lot. Anyways, let's move on. And lo and behold, we got some Russian scientists. They're going to study the methane. They're talking about we're going to study this methane. But probably anybody who understands how methane works and how bad it is and how much heating methane is going to generate in the very near future, we probably don't need a whole team of scientists to study this and tell us what the upshot is from all this methane, right? Anyways, but let's look at this quickly. Michelle sent me this from December 9th. Russian scientists plan to continue studies of methane emissions in the Arctic Sea. All right. Great. Good to know. Presently, scientists do not have sufficient data to forecast how the seeps could change the atmosphere and climate within the next 5 to 10 years. Really? You don't have enough information? Are you guys confused about what it's going to do? No, we need to know exactly what it's going to do. All right, well, when you guys have figured that out, it'll be 10 years from now, and it'll be too late. The scientists who in 2020 participated in an expedition on board the academic Mstislav Keldysh research survey vessel plan to continue studies of methane emissions, which emerge in Russia's Arctic seas due to the thawing permafrost, said Igor Samilitov of the Ilyichev Pacific Oceanological Institute. Sorry, it's a lot. It's a lot of word. The Russian Academic of Sciences Far Eastern Branch. The international expedition in 2020 began on September 27th, and continued in November 4 in the seas of the eastern Arctic and the Kara Sea. Russian scientists observed strong emissions of methane. Right, we covered this story because it was very scary, which keeps the gas concentration above the Arctic at rather high levels. The expedition studied seep fields and came to the conclusion methane emissions would double within the coming year. Ah, yikes! Get zoinks! Are you guys concerned yet? Double in the coming year. According to them, the permafrost's progressing degradation develops unexpectedly quickly. You don't say. We have filed an application with the Ministry of Science and Higher Education regarding next year, the expert told TASS. We plan to continue the studies on an annual basis. Okie dokie. Well, at least you guys will have jobs until the end of the planet. So, that'll be nice. Something to do and all that. This topic, methane emissions, is a key challenge. Consequences from the permafrost thawing, which develops due to the global climate changes. We cannot say clearly how much this process influences the climate, but the main candidate to explain those massive emissions is the destabilization of hydrates, gas hydrates consisting of water and methane, which are in a giant quantity under the permafrost, and inside it, twofold bigger than in the atmosphere. Right. The methane monster, as it were, that so many have been discussing for so many years. Presently, scientists do not have sufficient data to forecast how the seeps could change the atmosphere and climate within the next 5 to 10 years. Golly gee willikers, do we really need this data? We know, how about it's going to be real, real bad? How about you just need a piece of paper? I'm going to tell you what your study should look like. A piece of paper that has one sentence on it saying something like, holy fucking shit, we're fucked. That's all you need. And then proceed to figure out how it is that we're going to explain this to people as quickly as we can. Experts say gas emissions are much bigger than the seeps they have observed earlier. You don't say, faster than expected. You don't say, whoa, who could have expected that? We have organized the studies in a limited area. We have put on maps about 2,000 seeps, just what we could see under the vessel's bottom. You know how they say, if you see one mouse in a barn, be sure there are hundreds there. You know. Anyways, well, the upshot, this article, it could just be one sentence saying, holy shit, Jesus Christ, we're fucked. And that's about all you need to know. But, thanks, guys. Thanks. We have 85 watching, 39 likes. Please give it a hard like. Give the video a hard like. Let's get a bunch of likes before the end of this here session. Poppy Davis says Greta calls him out. Yes, she does. She does. She does. Gritty Chops, the holy fucking shit, we're fucked conference. Exactly. Exactly. Max RJ, quit your job and plant a tree. Creative Experiments, Earth is the planet of parking lots, not humans, indeed. Oh, thank you for the likes. We got 47 likes. Let's get more likes. More. Let's get all the likes, guys. Just, you know, it's just something fun to do. Violent Hippie, IPCC releases public statement. Holy shit, we're fucked, indeed. Official statement from the IPCC, Dr. Carter et al. Andy the Gardener says, you never hear scientists saying as long as 8 billion humans have a job and a car. Caleb Rochester, honey, let me explain. Yes. Realize says Canada's scientists have been muzzled by different regimes also. Sure. Ooh, we got 61 likes. That's a whole lot of likes. Thanks, guys. Let's move on. To a little bit of political news. This is from David Sirota. David Sirota about the new stimulus bill. Very quickly, just want to give you the upshot of this. Stimulus bill bails out defense contractors and denies direct payments to families. This is going to be great. This is going to be some good times, guys, because here comes the help. Wait a minute. Hold on. The help is for defense contractors and no stimulus in the stimulus bill, or very little. Buried in the new 525-page stimulus bill is a provision granting military contractors benefits that are being denied to workers and small businesses across the country. Well, all right. You can thank your Congress one more time. Earlier this year, Republican senators slammed the idea of spending money to pay Americans not to work during the pandemic. Only a few months later, a group of GOP senators has signed onto bipartisan stimulus legislation that would authorize the government to pay idle defense contractors to not work, even as those contractors rack up big profits during the pandemic. Meanwhile, the same bill excludes bipartisan provisions authorizing direct payments to millions of Americans struggling to survive. Well, David Sirota points out GOP senators who have signed on to this, but does he point out how many Democrats are going to help this bill along too? I wonder if he's going to say anything about that. The draft stimulus legislation obtained by the Daily Poster includes an extension of a program to replace the wages of certain government contractors who miss work due to COVID-19. Or is this just something that was drafted by the GOP? I don't know. But we'll see. We shall see who helps this one along or who does not. Oh. Well, hold on a second. The same bill does not authorize direct payments to millions of Americans, nor does it reimburse small businesses for providing paid leave benefits to their workers. Holy shnikes. While the bill would fund a $300 a week in new $300 a week in new federal unemployment benefits, that's half as much as Congress distributed under the CARES Act, and millions of people will still see their unemployment benefits lapse on December 26th. That's like next week, guys, as it will likely take weeks to reprogram state unemployment systems. Joe Manchin, Democrat, says this is about need and not greed. One of the Democratic sponsors of the bill, who has called new direct payments to families a bad idea. Oh my gosh. we have a Democrat, a leading blue dog Democrat, saying this is a bad idea. So yeah, bipartisan. A bipartisan shuck and jive is what it is. Nearly 12 million U.S. renters will be behind almost $6,000 in rent by January, according to the Washington Post. 12 million renters will be behind $6,000 in rent by January. Independent Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont and Senator Josh Hawley, Republican out of Missouri, have been pushing lawmakers to include language in stimulus legislation, giving $1,200 in stimulus checks to millions of families. That was not included in the same stimulus that includes a subsidy program for defense contractors. Let's see. We'll see how far they get in actually pushing this. Who knows? Yeah, this is just a whole bunch of mess. But anyways, David Sirota reporting on the non-stimulus stimulus bill that they're, working hard to craft before Christmas, before everybody runs out of unemployment, and we'll see if anything happens. Did y'all hear about this story? This is a weird story. White House Chief of Staff told FDA chief vaccine must be authorized Friday or he needs to resign. So the White House is pressuring the FDA to approve this vaccine. For various reasons. We must get it out. I don't know. Now it's like a contest, who can get the vaccine out and into people's systems first. This can't be good. This cannot be good. So they haven't approved it yet. They're not sure, but they're like, yeah, you better approve this vaccine or you're going to lose your job. That's not weird. That's not strange at all. I don't know if it's political grandstanding by Trump. Although they say in this article, the news is likely to raise additional questions about the extent to which the Trump administration political interests are involved with the vaccine authorization process and could undermine public confidence in the effort. Do you think so? Do you think so? I believe the vaccine, at least the first one from Pfizer, was approved, right? For emergency authorization? Emergency use authorization? Trump has grown impatient with the authorization process in recent weeks, with one person familiar with the president's thinking telling CNN that Trump wants to rush out as many vaccines as possible before he leaves office. All right. Well, if Trump wants to have his legacy shined on any level, he would pardon Assange. But we'll get to that in a second. I mean, this is coming on the heels of Fauci saying that the UK approved Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine too fast. He said it was too fast, but they're like, we're going to do this right away. And more coronavirus news. I got to this page from a headline that said Germany was pressuring the EU to approve the vaccine. So everybody's like, man, give us this vaccine and give it to us right now. We don't, we're Concerns about its safety or efficacy be damned. Coronavirus live news, EU likely to approve vaccine within days. They're saying that it's going to be approved by the 21st of December. Vaccines roll out of Pfizer plant in the U.S., but Trump is not taking it yet. So the conflicting news and confidence in anything that's going on just continues. EU countries could begin inoculations as soon as this year, the head of the European Commission said. The USDA raised no new concerns over data on Moderna vaccine in documents made public on Tuesday. So the Moderna vaccine is scheduled to be approved soon. Germany had reportedly been pressuring EU authorities to speed up the approval of the vaccine. Oh, awesome. You know, this just makes everybody feel super good about this. You know, let's just go ahead and approve that vaccine, guys. Come on. Come on. What? Oh, you guys are still doing studies? Oh, you know, whatever. Whatever. Just come on. I don't know. We'll go into some more vaccine news in the coming days. In other news, Attorney General William Barr resigns. The guy that was helping kind of keep under wraps the fact that Hunter Biden was under investigation. The supposed Trump lapdog, who also said that he didn't see any signs of election tampering, so he went against the whole Trump administration's push to question the election. Nobody knows what the actual reason for his resignation is. Maybe a combination of all of these things. But swamp creature though he is, I don't see him in any way being a complete and total lapdog of Trump. That's whatever. More news. This tweeted out by Last American Vagabond. Responding to this tweet, lawmakers are running out of time to pass another coronavirus relief package before Congress adjourns for the holidays. But they found time to help Israel. So they did pass aid for Israel. Isn't that great, guys? Isn't that wonderful? Last American Vagabond says exactly, why can't we see that our own government prioritizes a foreign government's interest over that of the American people's? My family had still to this day not received their stimulus check, but as Marshall points out, they sure found time to help Israel. Last week, Congress authorized $500 million for U.S.-Israel missile defense cooperation. So, of course, it's all about the military, guys, you know, and all of our allies around the world, guys, don't worry, we're going to help you. Oh, millions of Americans are about to be evicted. This is really the important part. So let's take care of this first. And lastly, in this video, I just want to reiterate and confirm my support for this. Comrade Misty tweets out, "Good morning, Donald Trump. Today would be a great day to pardon Assange. Do it." Do it. I hope he does. And I hope I don't care if people's heads explode. I don't care if people go crazy or feel this is wrong or bad. It is right on every level. Please pardon Julian Assange, Edward Snowden, and Chelsea Manning. Guys, thank you so much for your eyes, your ears, and your conscience. Thank you for joining me every day in this chat. I appreciate your support of this channel. Irk1 says Israel's got the connections with the Galactic Federation. Right. Right. Thank you, I am Sweetleaf. I appreciate you. Basil Peterson says they will be drinking champagne when the evictions start. Drinking champagne and eating caviar. Thanks, guys. I'll be back tomorrow at the regular time of 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Until next time, peace.